All right, guys, welcome everyone. Today is another webinar. It's an event, very important. It's a big difference. Now, we're here together, not me selling, but us learning. If you're anything like me, right, you want more clients, you want more cash, you want less stress. A lot of you guys have a lot of stress here, just like me. You want a business that actually works for you. Now, quick proof, you see Ben. Ben is here. I travel with my clients, do a lot of different client retreats, events like this. As you can see, I made $3.5 million specifically in info for myself. And that happened all in the last 2.5 years. I think most of you guys will see my YouTube videos, my Instagram reels and everything like that. So you know like the two social platforms I utilize, which is Instagram and YouTube. I spend over $6 million in ad spend in between me and my clients. So some of you guys here and like all the clients that I've worked with combined. And we generated over $65 million in cash collected total in client revenue in the past 2.5 years. This is like excluding my agency that I run before. It's purely with info. Clients scaled from 25K months up to 250K months. So like, I want you to understand, I'm going to talk about the profile funnel today. The profile funnel is like a source. It's like a specific acquisition process. Most of you guys know the VSL funnel. That's not what I'm going to talk about today. I'll show you why. And with this funnel, a lot of clients has been able to scale to 25K months whenever you're starting from zero, and other people to $250,000 a month. My biggest client is doing $600,000 a month. And this client's in the Spanish market. Now, I'm not a genius, but I want money, right? Just like you. The problem is most funnels, they're completely broken, especially nowadays in the info market. Like everybody is selling shit. Everybody is selling like different offers. It's like B2B or B2C. It's extremely competitive, right? Think about it. You're here right now. And the reason why you're here is because the profile funnel that I utilize is working on you. My profile funnel worked on you. So this is exactly what worked on as well, which is one of my clients, Warren. Warren, maybe some of you guys know Warren in the sales space. Maybe you've heard of him before. He's doing $100,000 a month. My client, Daniel, I think more guys have met him in real life here as well. This didn't only work on you and my clients. As I said, the profile funnel works for the following niches. So majority of you guys, I know like most is like agency owner, some guys are info. It all works in these niches. And the majority of my clients are doing info. As you can see, marketing agencies, online businesses, we have people in real estate as well. So people running physical real estate businesses, local businesses, e-learning businesses. So we all run mainly e-learning businesses. And I have clients in software. So like very high B2B software companies. Now, as you know, 2017 was all about ads, landing page, a funnel, email towards, spam, and it didn't work out. It's all very unprofitable. Like so many people tried it so many times, but like if you try this right now, you're like getting a cost per book call of like $1,000. As you see, the truth is that marketing is an optional, right? It's the heartbeat of a company. Without marketing, you're not going to make any money. Without marketing, your whole company is useless, right? You won't make any money. Now, without it, no dollars flow into it. Because let's be real, an empty calendar doesn't save your business. But the shift is simple. You don't need more complicated funnels. You just need to turn the profile who has Instagram here? Everyone. Who has YouTube account? Most of you guys, right? You probably have a YouTube account, you just don't post anything. Now, why wouldn't you utilize the funnel that you already have? You can just turn your current profile, everybody has Instagram, into a funnel. So you don't need to build new like pages or landing pages or website or anything like that, as you can see. So no new tools, no new landing pages. You just need a structure of what is already working right now. The picture this, your profile is a money printing machine. The paper is the traffic. The ink of the money printing machine is the messaging, so the way you portray yourself to clients. The toner is the conversion system, and the watermark is the proof that makes it all believable. When you walk into Starbucks and you try to pay with a paper without a watermark, they're going to think you're a scam because it's fake. So everything needs to be very legit. That's the reason why we all have client results and testimonials. That's the reason why at the beginning of this presentation, I show you 2 clients that scaled because of this funnel. And majority of you here are the case studies for me already because I have a client testimonial with you on my YouTube channel because the profile funnel has been working. Without all 4, your machine prints worthless paper. With it, it prints money on command. Now, that's the machine I'll walk you through today. But first, let's break down why 82% of the businesses fail right now and why the select few scale past 250K months. Because think about this, scaling an agency past 250K a month is pretty difficult. Most of you guys know. I'll tell you, scaling info past 250K per month isn't that complicated in any niche. Maybe you don't believe so, but info is one of the easiest ways to scale your own company right now. The aha isn't just that ads work, it's that traffic without a profile funnel is completely wasted traffic. So imagine you pour money into a system, right? And your profile isn't optimized. Then you just pour money into a system and that system loses money. Technically meaning you're losing money in general. So there's no point of pouring money into it. Now, because if your profile isn't structured, your ad spend is like pouring gas into a car with holes in the tank. Let's be honest, proven traffic don't matter if the system doesn't convert them into belief. The profile funnel is what is the ad system. So I want you to understand, so many people always ask me like the profile funnel, is that purely the ad? No, the profile funnel is turning your profile into a good machine and then adding money to it so more people see that profile. And when more people see that profile, it will be easier to convert. Without it, you're stuck paying double for half the return. Old funnels, it's like chasing leads. Profile funnel is like making leads chase you. Like how many times, who has seen, I always talk about like pre-sold leads in my Instagram. Like pre-sold leads, Brian does, obviously Brian does. Pre-sold leads, the beauty about attracting people that get to you because they want to pay you instead of converting people, emotionally selling them is a big difference in terms of the longevity, the LTV, right? Because when you sell to clients and you let them make a very quick emotional decision, it's going to be very complicated to maintain them over the long term because they made that emotional decision instead of a rational decision, which is a massive problem for a lot of info products. That's the reason why reputational damage is like a very big thing in this market. Now, it flips the psychology from come into my funnel to your profile is already proven to work. That's why it scales leaner, very leaner, way cleaner, and with higher margins. So like I'll show you in a bit, we did like, I think, Herman, 300, like 290K cash last month, and like 76 or 78% of that is pure profit with ad spend, with team, with everything included. And I'm going to show you how I do that. The beauty about running a company, an info product with a very lean team and with great clients is it saves you so much headache. Imagine getting one client for like $12,000 instead of like 12 clients for $1,000. When you get 12 clients for $1,000, you need to fulfill 12 times more. You have 12 times more risk, 12 times more responsibility. It's a mess. That's why if you're selling an offer right now, that offer is under $3,000. It's an absolute mess. Because imagine for you to make $500,000 a month, you need to sell to 175 times 3. It's crazy. That's a lot, a little bit less, 166. Because every post, every story, and every click compounds inside of the ecosystem. So I post a lot of stories every day. And like my stories are like, it's like a book. It's like a storyline for me. Every story I post adds on to each other. So the beauty about running this system is that it compounds over time. Because I post a story now and that story is still beneficial tomorrow. And it still helps in the conversion process the next day. Meaning, if you are consistent in posting stories, imagine, right? You post a story every day. You post a YouTube video every week. You post like a reel every week. It's going to be so much easier to constantly convert people because let's say an average conversion cycle happens in 2 weeks where people need to see 14 stories and 2 reels. It will be so easy for people to be converted as long as I stay consistent with my stories and with my reels and everything. That's the power of owning your own profile funnel. You can create your own profile funnel. And that's the reason competitors can copy your ads. As you know, I'm sweating here. It's crazy. And that's the reason why people can copy your ads, but they can't copy your conversions. Think about it. Like people cannot copy a person. People cannot copy your profile because your profile is you. That's why it works. And we all know that with info, whether you sell B2B or B2C offer, like the majority of you guys are here for the system, but I also know that the majority of you guys are here because of me. That's why selling you is what works extremely, extremely well. Think about it. They can steal your script, your targeting, even your offer, but they can't steal your proof because your proof is unique, your profile is unique, and your brand gravity is unique. As you see, my profile is unique. Me and my testimonial with Daniel's unique. Nobody can replicate that, right? You can see that my grow acquisition business Instagram page is unique, as well as my stories that I make on a daily basis, whether it's on the Nik Setting Instagram page or it's on the grow acquisition page. That's what makes the profile funnel have a complete unfair advantage. Most people chase the next ad hack. Only a few actually built the system. So you got to think about this, right? What got me from like $25,000, $50,000 a month to like $300,000 a month this month, actually the biggest month we hit, is building the actual system instead of constantly optimizing to figure out what the new ad hook or hack is going to be like. When you constantly look for the next thing, you're constantly optimizing for a different conversion process. And because of that, you're not actually focusing on what's already working well. Like the biggest tip that I can give that I feel in, to be fair myself, one big thing was not focusing and not pouring more money into what is already working. The best thing that you can do to make more money is look what is working and do that as much as you can. That's the best tip that I can ever get. Hacks are copied, systems compound. Now, when you have both the profile funnel plus the story funnel, hacks don't matter anymore because your machine is converting even while you sleep. Imagine waking up to a calendar, and this is very important, not just full, but full of buyers, right? Herman can explain the situation. At the beginning of the month, we had, I think, 8 sales calls every single day. We had a closing rate of 60%, 55%, and our paid in full rate was 80%. So it was like we had 25K days in a row for like 2 weeks straight. Now, that's the difference between chasing leads and owning the funnel that everybody else is missing. The profile funnel isn't a side tactic, right? It's the foundation, as you see. Without it, every dollar you spend bleeds out of the system. That's why I said the profile that you build is very, very important. Now, just like an average system almost everybody uses, right? You know, who is running a VSL funnel here? Are people running VSL funnels here? Have people run the VSL funnel here? Yes. So what is the reason why it stopped? Okay, so all unqualified leads. You run it like this, ads to a landing page, and then opt-in VSL towards a call, right? That's the whole process of how it looks like right now. Numbers, probably your cost per click was like $2 to $4. Then you have like a cost per lead, pretty expensive, like $30. You have a cost per book call, which is $250 or $400. And then the problem is you book a call for $250 or $400, which is fine, right? Like if you have an offer that is $10,000 and your closing rate is like 25%, you have a cost of acquisition for like, I don't know, is it $1,500? You still make a 7x ROAS, but the problem is the people that get on a call are unqualified. They just knew you for like 2 days, and that's the reason why you have so many unqualified leads, because you don't have a profile that they can get to get themselves educated about what you do and who you are. Now, your cost per show, $300 to $450, and then cost per acquisition, very expensive cost per acquisition, right? So when you want to acquire a customer, the max that you could have is like maybe like 2x. You know, you have a 2x, but what is imagine, right? You make $100,000 a month. You keep 50 besides ad spend. And then besides that, you have team costs, 20K. Then you have some VAs and software, it's like 25K. So you're already at 25K profit margin. You need to provide for your family. Your mom gets 5K. It's like 20K. Yourself is 15K. You're left with nothing. And that's a massive, massive problem. The profile funneling case is like a funnel that we've generated to be able to solve the problem of like having very, very high cost and creating stop creating inefficiency. Now, top of the funnel, video ads, story ads, video ads and story ads. So as you can see on the left side, we like run video ads. This is specifically on Instagram. I'm going to go into exactly how I create these ads in a bit, where you can see who has seen my, a lot of my reels before. Like the Miro reels, obviously. A lot of the guys have seen the Miro reels. That are reels that I can boost. So like I boost reels, and I also launched them on Business Manager. Now, to showcase this, to go back for a second, story ads as well. So we have seen a massive improvement in story ads recently, and the reason why story ads work really well is specifically because story ads are new. Nobody is running story ads. Think about it, right? Nobody is running story ads. A lot of people are running video ads, but not a lot of people are running story ads. We've been recently testing them, and they're like insane. So imagine you have a profile. You have YouTube videos for conversion. You have stories. Specifically, stories are for nurturing. When you guys see my content, you could be like, okay, Nick, fuck Nick, I don't like him. Or you could be like, okay, I could like this guy, right? It's nurturing. It nurtures people to becoming a potential buyer. Now, story ads are amazing because every single person clicks through stories anytime. And imagine you're in the info market and you're optimizing for story ads. People will see these ads every single time, which is perfect because that doesn't only convert and gets people to visit your profile, it also creates that consistency in people seeing your stories and your ads multiple times. Because what you do when you run story ads, you instantly run retargeting ads, because the longer people click on this profile, the more they will see. That is not with an individual video ad. You just see it once and you click on a landing page and then you go somewhere and you book a call or not, right? With story ads, it's like an instant retargeting ad. So you constantly keep seeing that story ad. You imagine, and this is brand awareness, right? You remember when like big guys, let's say Andrew Tate in 2022 was like popping off, and every single time you scrolled on TikTok, every 3 videos you saw him. Now, the beauty and the power of that isn't that specifically like whatever he said in that video. It's that you see his face every single time. So imagine after like scrolling for like an hour and you've seen his face like 52 different times. You got to think like, fuck, like I got to figure out this guy does. And that's brand awareness. And that's what story ads create, right? As long as people see your face multiple times, more than enough, they'll create that. And they'll have that perception of like, I'm going to figure out who this person is. The middle of the funnel is like, this is my IG profile. So I have value that I provide. I do this on my YouTube. So I provide specific value. And I always make my YouTube videos in a way where I focus on very specific knowledge. So I look at the main topics people want to know things about. One topic is ads. The second topic is Instagram Reels. The third topic is stories. So like these 3, I'm always talking most about these 3 topics on my Instagram all the time. I'm not going to talk about offers. You'll never see me make a video how to build the best offer, the info offers in 2025. I add it to my videos, but I'm not talking about it as a main topic because that's not what people care about. Then I wouldn't get as many clicks, right? For the proof, I have one testimonial page. A lot of people, especially if you're in B2C, you should have a second page. So you'd build a second YouTube channel, which is called your business like name or whatever. You can call it your own name and then Nik Setting testimonials, or you can call it grow acquisition. Whether it's your business name or your own name added on with testimonials, it'll help so much for credibility. Like so many people came to me and that made it easier. Tell me. Because it looks more professional, first of all, when you have a second account attached to it. When people think and they see like, okay, I have a second YouTube channel and this person has a second YouTube channel, specific testimonials, that is insane. That's very, very valuable. I don't care if you have an agency or anything like that. It's super valuable when you have a second page as a testimonial page because that's your whole credibility list. You remember when you were building like the VSLs and all stuff like that? And like, if you scroll down, you have like a headline. And then after the headline at the bottom, you have like a VSL. Then you have like a book call. And then when you scroll down, you have testimonials. That's kind of like your YouTube video. You should build like a YouTube video. It's like a portfolio, right? You can use that portfolio for anything and you can send it to anyone. Now, short form content is the last one. I do a mixture of micro reels. I do a mixture of raw talking, and I also have a mixture of like podcast reels that I host. Bottom of the funnel, so like bottom of the funnel story sequences, are story sequences focused on specifically nurturing people and getting them into my DMs. So like I think the 300K that we made, around 275 is purely through the DMs. So not closed in the DMs, but either DM to close to payment link or DM to call to close. But it's all through the DMs. Everything happens in the DMs because it's my Instagram profile. That's where I'm hosting everything on. We have inbound, then we have warm outbound, conversation, and then again, you see 60% of the sales, 60% of the calls are through sales calls, and then 40% through DM close. Now, let's break down the numbers, right? We just walked through the numbers of the VSL. You can see here, 20 cents to 40 cents cost per profile visit. So you're not optimizing for a cost per lead, you're optimizing for cost per profile visit. Cost per follower is $1 to $3. This is a qualified cost per follower you can utilize, and this is extremely profitable. You have cost per book calls like 60 to 90 bucks. And the beauty about the profile funnel is like every single person that comes in is qualified because they see your profile. They intentionally choose to have a call with you because they like your profile. So it's not just they're catched by an ad. No, they like you because of your profile. Then you see here, cost per show up is 70 to 120. And then cost per acquisition is, let's say, 680. Okay, cool. If you have an offer that is $10,000, and because you run the profile funnel, your show up rate is way higher, your PIF rate is way higher, then it's easy. You have like a 15x return. You know, like anywhere between 10 to 20x return with the same funnel. Now, let's compare it, right? Your cost per click is $3 to $4. The profile visit is, let's say, 40 cents. The cost per lead is $20 to $30. Your cost per follower here is $3 to $5. Like, having a qualified follower is technically having a qualified lead, right? When your follower is qualified, it's like having a qualified lead added to the system. You see, cost per bouquin is $400, $250 to $400 depending, and then cost per bouquin here is 60 to 90. The cost per show up is 300 to 450. The cost per show up call is 70 to 100, and then the cost per acquisition is very expensive when you run a VSL funnel compared to the profile funnel that you could run. Think about it. You're sitting here right now because my profile funnel already worked on you. There are 3 types of ad scripts. So I want you to understand, how do we run profitable ad scripts for this specific profile? Now, as you can see, educational. There are 3 different variants. So we have educational, credibility-based, and value-based. Now, educational-based first. That's technically where you teach and give insights. That's a lot of people in B2C do that. Lots of people in B2C do only purely educational-based content. So as an example, right, you have to understand, when I say this is exactly how I helped a client transform them from going from 20K to like 100K, that is credibility, transformational based. It's the bottom one. Now, value-based is where I provide a lot of value. So as an example, my Miro videos, that is value-based. It always ends with like something tangible. So they can get a script from it, or they can get an SOP from it, or they go away with value where they can directly implement something. That's value-based. And then educational-based is where you teach them something. You give them insights. You educate them and change their belief. How does the ad structure work? So when we build a profile funnel, we specifically follow these 4 steps. One is the hook, max 4 seconds, mechanism, proof, and CTA. As an example, let's say you have an Airbnb coaching offer. This is how it could look like. The wrong hook is, if you want to make more money with Airbnb, I can show you. How many times, like maybe you've seen this before, how many times do you see an ad from like somebody that scales somebody else, like if you're a coach, or if you're this, or if you're that? Like, that shit doesn't work anymore. If you're trying that shit on the profile funnel, it doesn't work anymore because everybody is doing that. That is why you don't need to lead with the profile. So the person never say like, let's say you're an Airbnb coach, then you're not going to say, okay, if you're a beginner and you want to build an Airbnb, you never focus on the profile. You focus on the pain points. So as an example, a right hook could be, and this is one of the most profitable ads that Daniel's been running, and that's why he made 132K, specifically with this scripting, is you've listed your Airbnb, but bookings are slow, profits are thin, and you're wondering if it's even worth it. Here's why, right? And then you can see, why does it work? Calls out the exact pain into B2B Airbnb niche/space. So you call out the pain where you don't specifically target the profile, but you target the pain. Creates relatability and urgency. Psychology, it's like an aha moment. The audience thinks, yes, that's me. Why is this happening, right? And the moment that happens and they think that, they're already in the body. Now, this is another example, as you can see, for a finance market offer. If you're a coach and you're looking for, no, you shouldn't start it like that. You should be like, you're running ads, but every lead that comes in is cold, low intent, and barely replies. Here's why. And this works specifically because it describes the exact pain coaches already feel, right? If you get triggered by your pain, you want to figure out, most of you guys are probably here because of this funnel. So you came here and you were thinking like, fuck, I'm coming here today to learn something, right? And that's the whole point of everything. You either came here probably to network, to meet me, or to learn something about the profile funnel. One of these 3 things, right? And that is a big pain because the thing that you came for is the thing that you don't have. So if people offer you something like that, you want it, meaning you're going to put in effort to get it, you're going to put in money to get it, or anything like that. So the point about pain is very, very crucial and important. The mechanism flows into the hook. So as an example, my program helps you get more bookings with better marketing. You can say, instead of lowering your prices, this is the Airbnb example, we optimize your listings, photography, and guest experience so you charge more while filling your calendar. As an example for the finance market, it's like, instead of saying our funnels get you more leads than other systems do, which is no pain at all, it's just nothing, it's just a generic. You can see, instead of pushing people straight to a landing page, we push traffic towards our profile, which is the page prospects actually land on. It's like transformational. You showcase what happens here. Then proof. Okay, proof is very important, especially in the market nowadays, because like so many people are just selling random shit without proof. So it's very important to back up why you say something, right? Like I feel like we did a type form, and like the majority of the people, the majority of the reason why people paid me for my B2B offer was proof, credibility, which is technically proof, and value slash technical analysis. So people tend to feel that I go more in depth into certain stuff than just saying like, you know, you want to make money online and travel to Bali. Wrong proof is our clients get great results with Airbnb hosting. A good proof is saying one of our students went from struggling at $900 months to 4.8K months in 60 days without lowering prices, just by upgrading photos and guest flow. This makes it look very easy. It shows a transformation. It shows that you've helped your students, and it shows the duration in 60 days, right? Tied directly to a mechanism, which is premium positioning. And in psychology, again, it's like audience realizes, oh, results don't come from slashing prices. It's just from the strategy. Now, same counts for the finance market, right? We focus on making you the main selling point instead of leveraging outdated marketing angles that everybody else uses. It's putting an 8 to 12x ROAS on cold traffic, and in some markets, even higher returns based on the scarcity of use. Now, think about this. When you have your profile optimizer, you talk about the same stuff in your profile, in your content that you're talking about here, right? Let's say we focus on making your main selling point instead of leveraging outdated marketing angles that everybody uses. So let's say you make a YouTube video, a longer form YouTube video about how to create a main selling point. That flows perfectly into the ad. So like, you have to understand that if you talk about something completely different in the ad compared to what's shown on your profile, then it won't resonate. But when you talk about the same pain points of what's happening in your ad compared to what you're showing in your profile, it works perfectly. And people are aligned with it. And because of that, you'll make more money, right? That's very, very crucial. Now, the CTA is, instead of saying click to join my program, come on BNB and I'll send you my free checklist that took one of our clients from 1 to 5K a month in under 90 days. That could be an example of it. In the finance market, could be common profile, and I'll send you the full breakdown so you can copy how this works for you. Low friction. Commenting feels casual, right? Commenting is very casual. Instead of clicking on something, click on another button, click on another button, and keep going on. It's like terrible. You want to keep it as easy as possible for people. So like a profile ad, instead of a landing page, right? You click on a landing page, it takes like 3 seconds, but your Wi-Fi is fucking slow to get to the landing page. And you're on the landing page, you need to watch a 9-minute video. And then when you're there watching a 9-minute video, you need to click on a button, you need to book in a calendar, you fill in the details, you need to click submit, you need to wait for the call, you get some assets sent through email. It's like so much shit. With a profile ad, it's like you just get Instagram profile, right? You click on that, and you can technically decide, like the prospect can decide what he does from there. The prospect doesn't get pressured, and people don't like to get pressured. That's a very big thing. And especially quality people don't like to get pressured. That's very important to understand. Now, when we understand the copy, we get anyone to do whatever we want them to do. But without the top of the funnel traffic, nobody will see highly converting copy we just created. What if we can turn $1 into $17, a proven formula over and over again? The beauty about the profile funnel is that it's a compounding process. When you figured out once how to create a profitable ROAS, it's not that you need to test something completely new like the VSL. Normally when you run an ad and it's profitable, you spend a lot of money. It's like drop shipping, right? You spend a lot of money on a product when you have a winning product. And then it takes a month, and then after a month, the winning product doesn't work. You got to find new products. You don't got to make a new profile. You don't have to make a new profile. So the beauty about this is when you figure it out once for your market, you just adapt the messaging slightly and you go back to creating a 17x return. That's why you can scale it so quick. The only technically downside of a profile funnel is the conversion cycle is longer. So whereas you run a direct ad, that's the only benefit of a direct ad. When you run an ad, you know exactly, okay, cool. Somebody came in, somebody converts tomorrow, as an example, when it's very quick. Although then the customer is shit and like nothing happens, like it's still terrible. But the beauty about this is that your customer is way higher quality. The only problem is you don't know if people convert after 6 months or 3 months or 2 months. So the conversion cycle varies. But it doesn't matter when you constantly make stories, you constantly convert and add value, because when a customer converts after 6 months, that customer is extremely qualified, right? And is there with the intent of buying and is like, bro, like I just want to fucking pay you because I've seen so much shit all the time. Now, knowing that every single time you launch a new profile funnel campaign, it will bring similar returns. Now, we'll always show actions and not words, right? It's how I turned $16,000 in ad spend. This was exactly this month. I just finished this last edit here this morning. You can see 58,000 dirham. That's like 16,000 US. And we made, it's the 22nd. That's still the 22nd. This is not including bank transfer and crypto payments or whatever it is, but let's just keep it by this. 241K cash, right? Specifically here with $16,000 in ad spend. Let's talk about how to actually set up the ads so you understand exactly what to do after this event. Ads, setup and launch. Ad campaign. This is how I always run my ad campaigns every single time. You can see here, we have ad campaign, we have ad sets, and you can see I run 5, normally 3 to 5 individual ad sets. So you have one campaign, one ad set, one creative, right? I run multiple creatives under that. And as an example, these 3 creatives are the exact same creatives as these 3 creatives. It's just under a different ad set. And you can never fail. You remember what I told you like 5 minutes ago? I said, when you know how to turn $1 into $17 at once, you can do it forever. The beauty about this is you can literally spend money on ads and constantly test to figure out what's working. When you test constantly, and the average cycle of testing takes 4 days with ads, you test constantly, it's impossible to fail. Because when you test, and you test every 4 days, you do that for 40 days. I don't guarantee shit, but I can guarantee that you'll find a winning profitable ad. When you have the profitable ad, it will be way easier to become profitable with the profile funnel. Now, when this is in place, you can see the different type of ad structures that we utilize. The first step, very important. When you go, who is business manager set up? Who doesn't have business manager set up? Brian, fair. So everybody's business manager set up. Now, we run a traffic campaign, right? This is very important. I tried recently to run an engagement campaign as well, but like an engagement campaign is not that great. It's not that profitable. The traffic campaign is way more beneficial because what you're optimizing for Instagram profile visits, meaning the reach increases massively when you optimize for a traffic campaign. So everybody here, no matter if you're in B2B or B2C, you click on a traffic campaign. Then you click on manual campaign. You know what it is? You can do recommended settings. I don't know if people in e-com know how ads work, people in info know how ads work, but you click on manual campaign. When you click on manual campaign, you have the control yourself. You want to like know what you're working on. This is very, very important. So like when you do recommended settings, you have to understand that Facebook decides where that money goes. And you don't want Facebook to be dependent on where the money goes. Because Facebook spends money based on what's most beneficial for them, not for you. So you want to decide where your own money goes. When that happens, you have ad set name and conversion. So as you see in the bottom right there, you click on Instagram and Facebook. It's very important. You don't click on calls or website or anything else. If people want to make a photo, make a photo. But this is very important that you focus on Instagram conversion. You click next, bid control, value rules. You all keep that blank. You see you have your main profile, your main destination, and then you can click on next again. Budget, minimum $25 a day. Test 4 days, technically to 7 days, and track results. I always test it for 4 days. 4 days is max. Like it's completely fine to track it for 4 days. And then you can constantly re-optimize after these 4 days when you've tracked. Max 300 a day. Test for 3 days and track these results. That's what I always do. So like you test for 4 days, you see what's working, what's not working. So as an example, right, you can read and you can see, okay, my cost per Instagram profile visit is very high. Maybe this creative isn't good enough. But what if, let's say a creative is very profitable on one ad set, then you can retest it again on a different ad set. You constantly keep testing. That's the whole point of it. Now, you switch to original audience, Advantage Plus. You see, use original audience. Don't use Advantage Plus. Never use Advantage Plus because when you use Advantage Plus, it's gonna it's gonna create a whole mess. You don't want to do that because again, then you let Facebook decide where it goes. On the bottom, you can switch this. So when you're in the middle, you see on the left top in the middle, you see ad set. When you're in your ad set, you can click on switch to original audience and you click on next. Here, when you create a new audience, you have broad that you can choose from. You can choose broad. When your scripting is very narrow, right? So your scripting is very narrow. You can easily do a broad ad. As long as your scripting is narrow, you specifically speak to one pain, it's cool to do a very broad ad. It doesn't matter. When your scripting is broad and technically you focus on a broad audience, technically you focus on targeting anyone, then you have a massive problem because you attract only unqualified leads. Niche with interest, that's something you can focus on. And then obviously location. Location is dependent, right? I feel like that when you target international, you want to focus on Canada, US, you want to focus on Australia is a very good market as well. That's the ones I mainly target myself. Obviously, when you're, let's say, in the UK market, you focus only in the UK. When you're in the whatever Danish market, you focus on the Danish market. But that's niche with interest. Age, genders, and interest. Men, like most offers of us, should all be between 20 to 40 and then focused on men. That's very important because, like, normally I've seen the max limit into creating a lower or more profitable return is doing max age 40. And you never want to do 18 because sometimes when you do age 18, the majority of the people you attract is like the 15 to 17-year-olds on their brother's account and all that shit. So you want to do 20. Do 20 to 40 to be safe. Then placements and reels, right? So you want to turn everything off. So search results, you want to turn it off. You want to turn everything off. The only thing you want to have on is Instagram stories. You want to have Facebook reels on, and you want to have Instagram reels on. That's the best thing that you can do. And then Instagram stories. That's the only way you want to run ads. You don't want to run it on search results or the feed or anything like. That's where my fucking grandma's looking at. Creative, very clean. Don't touch anything. The only thing people always overcomplicate this as well. They want to add like a headline in the creative. They want to add like a subscription, a description, like all shit, all links. Just don't do anything. Just only add your creative. The best way to run good ads is letting your creative do the most profitable conversion. So like the creative does the conversion itself. You don't have to add like a placements and like a hook and like a description and like a headline and everything like that. Just keep it very clean and simple because the creative should have a CTA, should have a good hook, should guide the prospect into the right direction of where you want to get them to. When you launch it, right, you focus on the niche audience. So as an example, in my market, when you're in my market, you're scaling. The best markets and like targets to focus on is lead generation, content marketing, sales, and entrepreneurship. That's a very good one. When you, let's say you're in a fitness market, like recently we tested, if you're in a fitness market with one of our clients, we tested Pilates. She generated a 35x return on that targeting. It's insane. It was very well targeted. When you focus on specific niche, let's say like fitness, you can focus on fitness individually is a very good niche. I would always keep it a little bit more broad. When you go too niche, when you focus on fitness, it's going to be too complex. And then marketing is a very good one for when you're in business marketing. When you're in sales, definitely focus on sales. Sales is a very good one in terms of interest that you can target. And then after that, we have lookalike audience. So this is one of my favorite ones because the lookalike audience just is one of the most easiest ones. And the reason why is because the lookalike audience, what it technically does, it allows you to make a custom audience. So when you make that custom audience, you can do whatever you want. So you can choose who you want to focus on, who you want to target. And that's going to be very easy and beneficial because with this, you can never go wrong. You will always attract the right person, always, because it's a custom audience. You made it yourself, right? Create a custom audience. You need to have an audience to target before a lookalike audience. So when you don't, who has more than, let's say, 5,000 followers here on Instagram? More. If you have more than 5,000, building a custom audience, lookalike audience is worth it because what you do is like, let's say the people that you follow are quality. It's super easy to retarget these people, make a custom audience, and then what you technically do is you allow Meta to spend more money on attracting more people like that. That's the best thing that you can ever do, right? And then the second best thing is like running broad. Running broad works as well whenever you have a very big audience. Audience retention, 180 days. So like what you normally do is like you do 180 days or 365 days based on the engagers from your Instagram. So when you focus on making a custom audience, you click on people that interacted with my profile professionally, these people, and then you focus on normally, I said here 180 days, but I would focus on 365. So like 1 year, meaning you retarget every single person that has seen you on your Instagram. You know, on the bottom, sometimes you see professional dashboard. You see like, let's say like 500K views, some people see 1 million, some people see 5 million, 10 million plus, right? That is what you retarget when you focus on, let's say, focusing on 365 days. You retarget all the people that saw your profile, which is very, very great. Lookalike audience, country size. So you can see here, you just give it a specific name. You focus on equaling it to 3 to 5% of the audience size. So the more, the lower the number, the more narrow the target. Meaning if you're in B2B, you focus on anywhere between 3 to 5%. If it's B2C, focus on like 7 to like 8%. That's what you do. Advantage Plus, you turn it off. You don't do anything like that. Creative setup, don't add events or tracking here, no changes. Optimize a single image. Multi-advertiser off as well. So optimize for a single image. When you make a single image, it's very great to make one single image, not too much complexity. Don't add events or tracking here, no changes. Don't make any changes too much. The more you like try to like fuck the system, the more it fucks up and the faster it fucks up. So don't change too much. Creative launch, go back to your campaign by click on the top left, click publish, launch everything at the same time. So what you do is when you launch the event, what most people do wrong, this is very important when you run ads, they click on the creative and they launch it, or they click on the ad set and they launch it, but you want to click on the campaign. So when you click on the campaign, you launch everything at the same time. Average metrics, profile, visit, follower, qualified follower, convo, book, call, closing rate. You can see here B2C, 25 cents, $1 to $3 per qualified follower. You see qualified follower is like 3 to 10. Sorry, 1 to 3 per normal follower and then 3 to 10 per qualified. Combo, you pay $20 for a conversation, anywhere between $6 to $20 for a conversation. You have a book call of $40 to $100, and then closing rate of like 50%. The beauty is your closing rate is way higher because you focus on qualified people. Or you have qualified people following you through your profile, so they know you for a longer time. Meaning the quality is better, meaning the closing rate is high. That's why my closing rate is high. That's not because our closing skills are only the best. That's because we attract great people in our marketing, right? B2B, 50 cents, 2 to 6 per follower, 5 to 20 per qualified follower. I recently run an ad that got me in $22 per qualified follower. That's a lot of money, but it was worth it because one out of I think 80 followers converted to be a 14K customer. So it's very, very, very great. Performance tracking, you can track through manual tracking. This doesn't work whenever you have a creator account. This doesn't work. You need to have a business Instagram account. You need to have business suite set up, and you need to have a business Instagram ad account. When you don't have that, you'll see that when you click on the side of your notifications to people coming in, following from your ad, let's say you click on the side, you'll see that it doesn't work. It doesn't click on anything. It clicks on a name. This was a very good way to track. The second way of tracking is Facebook dashboard. I always check when you go to column in Facebook ads and you add the results page, it's going to be very easy to see the amount of followers it got from that ad. You can add that. So like that's a great way of tracking. And then here last one is a tracking sheet. We have like an automation that connects with a tracking sheet, puts everything in a tracking sheet automatically, so I don't need to manually track everything. Scaling budget, after 30 days, obviously turn off, makes no difference. Let's say it does a 2 to 4x. You optimize other components, potentially affecting the conversion. So let's say you have a 2 to 4x. What you want to do mainly is you want to focus on seeing, okay, is my setter good enough? Is my closer good enough? Is my profile good enough? Is everything optimized well enough? And when that's not the case, you want to make sure you want to optimize for that first. When you have a 4 to 10x, right? A lot of my clients create a 5x really quick. When you have that, you want to do 2x. You want to 2x the spend. So let's say you're spending $3,000 a month, you spend $6,000 a month. And when you have a 10x plus on return, to be fair, you just want to make sure you instantly spend 3 times more. So like you're just going to spend a lot more, and then it's going to be a lot easier to maintain what you're doing. And like there's no, like, again, I said in the beginning, when something is working, you want to double down on what's working. You want to make more money with what's working. So the only thing that you do is when you have a 10x, you start spending way more money, and you start to spend as much money as you can because you create the biggest return. You just got to make sure you have the sales team ready. That's very important. Like the lowest I would do is $15. $15 per creative. Because you know what it is, bro? You can do $5. That's easy. It's just like nobody here is poor. So like the less you spend, the longer it takes to, and it's like, do I optimize for money or do I optimize for time? That's just the question you gotta ask yourself. If I want to spend less, No worries. You can spend less. That's completely fine. But then you're gonna take longer to see what's working. Like the more you spend, the faster you can test, the faster you can get to a winning ad. Does that make sense? Anybody questions about this ad process? That's a very good question. Do you, and this helped me a lot. Actually, it's manual tracking, but it helped me a lot. Do you send a client form to every client that is getting on board into exactly where they came in from, or no? No. So when I onboard a client, I send him a client form, and a client form tells them what made you pay, Nick? Why are you here? Which ad did you? And like clients always seem to answer that like really great and perfect. I'll send that to you after. It's very great because that allowed me to track, okay, people coming from this ad, people coming from my YouTube, people coming from my Instagram. I could see everything. Like imagine you know which social platform people came in from. Imagine you know which uh, which story people saw that they liked that made them pay you. You know what I mean? Like if you know every detail and it's an ideal customer, you can like replicate the process so many times that you'll be like, okay, listen, if this guy converted because of this and this is a perfect customer, I can do these exact same things again to get more people like that. So that's a big glitch, but I'll give you that. No worries. That was the top of the funnel. But leads without direction is wasted money. Nothing like technically now the difference between building one directional short term. So one directional is exactly what I described. One directional is specifically VSL funnel. It's one direction, one line, right? Versus building multi-directional, which is long term. Building like the profile, when you constantly build it, it adds on. So you build a system and it compounds over time. Sometimes I don't run ads for like 2-3 weeks and I make so much money because so many people are in the pipeline, so many people see my story, so many, you can make money forever. Like it doesn't stop, right? Meaning if you turn off ads with a VSL funnel, the next day you won't have any calls, you won't make any money. So there's more longevity into the system. That's why this system is so great. It's like a web. Every component of the company feeds and support into each other. And that's exactly why it creates compounding growth. This is a system that you can build technically within 4 weeks. When you do it right, you can build it within 4 weeks. Obviously, it needs testing, it needs refinement. You constantly want to optimize it to be able to make sure that it becomes better and better and better. Now, you'll never have to chase clients with no budget because that's the most terrible thing you've ever done. Like, I don't know who's run an agency has done outreach and shit like that. It's terrible. Or cold calling. Or with wrong expectations, right? It makes your life a lot easier. It makes your life more fulfilling and technically make you have a lot more impact. Does somebody have questions about the whole funnel, like the profile funnel, the ads, the setup of the offer, anything? Yes. So as an example, right, you have the campaign, you have the ad set. So every time with the ad set, you pick the budget. So as an example, let's say you spent $25 per creative. You need to have 4 creatives. Let's say in the ad set you say, okay, I spent $100. So in the ad set you have $100, and then it spends 25 on each creative, and you can manually add that. So what I would do, this is very smart. I would like what I did recently, and I tested it. It worked really, really well. Is like every single time I create a new, I make a new creative. I make one ad set. So don't put multiple creatives onto multiple ad sets. Let's say instead of doing one ad set, $100, and then it spends over 4 creatives. Do like ad set creative $25, ad set creative 20. Just duplicate it, because then you can track even better. Correct. Yes. And you can just duplicate it. So you can use the exact same ad set, different creative, and the same spend. That's going to be the most beneficial.
Meta optimize the ad spend when you use multiple ads in one ad set, right?
Yes. You mean like scaling the budget?
So whenever you launch an ad, Meta will optimize your ad budget each.
That's yeah, good question. That's when you do, let's say, 100 per ad set,
Uh-huh.
and then automatically it spreads out the $25 each. But it could be that that it spends 100 on only one,
Uh-huh.
meaning the others don't even get tested. So that's stupid. So the best thing to do is make one ad set, one creative, $25, so you know that that ad set will spend exactly $25 on that creative.
But Meta optimize it for if, for example, if you launch 4 ads and he only spends to one ad, the other 3 ads are shit in Meta's opinion, right?
Yes, so you get like depends, right? When you have one ad set, one
Mhm.
creative, And then let's say you have 50 of that. So ad set, creative. It just spends specifically on the creative. And then after you've tracked that, you can just turn some off that are not working. Or you can increase the spend of the one that are working.
Okay. Gotcha. Thanks.
No worries.
What about the ratio of time you use for that?
Very good point. YouTube video once a week. And the YouTube video formula is value, credibility. Value, credibility. And then Instagram, I try to do I try to like twice a week, but that's too complicated sometimes because I want to create like really high quality production. So what I normally do is I do a combination. I cycle it around. So value, credibility, like value, credibility, educational. So I do one of my podcast clips, one where I sit down with any one of my clients. We'll record a new one here this weekend, where I go over the process of showing the Miro. You see the Miro that I made, right, with other clients. That's one I can do. And then the last one is, which else do I have? Raw. So that's educational. So I make one specific reel about an educational based topic. So I just talk about like it's like a podcast clip of me talking about any conversion process. You know what the thing is? It's like I'm very curious. Who has a calendar here where you have who has an unstructured calendar? So you have calls let's say you have 5 calls a day on average, but all over the day, placed everywhere. Sometimes you call at 9 p.m., sometimes 8 a.m. It's just a mess. Who has that? Okay. When you have that now, I'm going to literally save your life. That was the thing that saved my life forever. It's crazy. It's actually a glitch. What you do is it's the simplest way of just making yourself happy and fall in love with business again. Every single Monday to every single Friday, book out now 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. only for sales calls. And then you take an hour pause, you book 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. only for client calls. And the rest of the day you don't do it. You just focus on strategizing, optimizing, doing anything else. You want to have a structure. Having a structure is what I implemented for myself a year ago. It changed my life. So when you have calls, client call, sales call, client call, sales call, team, networking call, events, it's a fucking mess. Your brain gets exploded and you're not productive at all. So the best thing that you can do is make that plan. And then your limiting belief is yeah, but you know what, Nick, if I take sales calls 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., there's so many people that won't book in. And no, that's bullshit. It's just what you made up in your mind. That's most of the time not true. But that clarity, holy shit, saving your life.
My time is mostly getting wrecked by trying to make content, trying to think of content, try to script content. And I'm now getting people in my business to do it for me. But it's it's getting my vision of sales in someone's head who doesn't do sales, but he does copy. So it's
Yes. I understand your thought. Yeah. So the biggest thing here.
you want to have high value.
Yeah. So some people are very creative. Some people are very operational. They can build a CRM in a day. Some people are very good at sales. Some people are very good at speaking, right? So the biggest tip that I can give you is look at where your skills lie. You will never be fuck, I got to take a sales call. I'm nervous to take a sales call. It's difficult. I need to think. You just do it because you're very good at sales, right? But with content, that isn't the case. With content, you could be fuck, I'm thinking this, and you're constantly you're kind of not completely productive and constantly thinking what to create. The best thing is what we're doing right now with the team is building SOPs around explaining step by step how your brain works into thinking about creating content. And then you know what the beauty is about this? For example, we have setter SOPs. Day 1 to day 14, SOP built. So people could see exactly from day 1 to day 14 how we have structured our SOPs and how we've trained that setter. Let's say this setter is gone. Fine. Okay, that didn't work out. Cool. Then what I can do is I can hire a new setter and let that setter go through the exact same 14 SOPs of an hour. That's 14 hours of content. After these 14 hours of content, the setter knows exactly what to do. So building SOPs is gonna be a glitch because you don't have to over-explain yourself. You don't have to over-explain new hires that you're gonna make. You don't have to. You get where I'm coming from? That's very important. And with content ideas, the best way is take one main topic, ads. What can you divide ads in? Ads, you can make a video about profile ads. You can make a video about VSL ads. You can make a video about the difference in ads. You want to segment it into different things. So for example, right, sales. Make one video about objection handling framework. Make one video about how to open a proper sales call. Make one video about how to speak on sales calls. Make one video about how you manage sales calls. How do you manage sales calls as a closer to make your time productive? There are 4 topics that you can make videos about. that your niche, your market cares about. And like the biggest thing on how I get easily content ideas is like think about your ICP. So you know your ICP, you know the person that you're targeting and focusing on. We all help people that are in a situation where we have been in, right? So as an example, right? You've made money as a closer, you help other people become closers. And when you help other people become closers, you know you relate with their situation because they have technically been there. Does that make sense? So the best thing that you can do is put yourself in your ICP shoes. Put yourself in the shoes of technically your younger self when you were in that situation of the type of people that you help now, and think about what you got triggered by. So when you were doing, let's say you target people that are doing 2 to 3K a month as a closer. Think about how did I felt when I was doing 2 to 3K a month as a closer? What did I got triggered about? Did I care about going to travel or not really? Did I care about this or systems, or did I care about value? But like, what did I care about? And when you understand that, it's easy to figure out content ideas because you know what you got triggered by. And if you got triggered by these things, that means that your clients will get triggered by these things, or your prospects, your ideal clients will get triggered by these things as well. Like if I think about this right now, when I was doing 30K, I'm thinking, okay, my ICP, let's say, is doing $30,000 a month, right? I want to get into 250K. Now, what was I stuck with when I was doing 30K per month? Okay, you know, like I didn't really care about traveling. I already had freedom. I cared about a proper system. I had no organization. So when I talk about traveling, like people don't really care, right? But when you're making nothing, you do care about freedom. So you do care about traveling, which is why I could say in my content that I help people create freedom while they can travel the world and stuff like that. Whereas for a 30K a month business owner, you say, okay, you know what? You need a better system. You need more organization. You want better SOPs. That's what they care about.
I have a question more about this of your bio on Instagram, not an ads question, but let's say you have good YouTube content and you have well-structured ads. If you're in the B2C space and you're selling more lifestyle, what are your thoughts on going more general in your bio? The reason I ask is when I went more general, like my organic inbound was very, very high.
Yeah.
As soon as I went super specific on my ICP, it shot way down because it came across
That's a
as
good
sales.
question. Yeah, so you're probably afraid of your following count or maybe your viewing count or your liking count dropping. But that could be a healthy thing because, again, as I told you, like you're optimizing for money now. You're not optimizing for, what is it called? Viewers and followers anymore. And that's what you want. And when you optimize for money, you will have less organic. You will have less, you get where I'm coming from? So the most important thing is I would be focused on being slightly more specific, figuring out, okay, what is the ICP that I target? Is that like a creator? Is that somebody that is starting as a creator? Is that somebody that is experienced as a creator? And then it's easy. The bio is not the biggest thing, right? But optimizing your content for the sake of understanding what they need. It's very easy to make content about figuring out to position things on what they need and what they want. So like as an example, right? Let's say you're making a story. You're making this story about how people could create freedom and stuff like that. Is when your audience watches that, would they feel like, okay, now I want to pay this guy? Or do they feel like, okay, I'm a fan of this guy? Just every single time you create content, think about this. Are people becoming a fan because of this, or are they becoming a buyer because of this? So many people have you have so many fans. People love you all, like it's amazing, but you don't have buyers. You know what I mean? And the difference between a fan is like somebody that likes your content, does this, does whatever. He likes it, but like likes doesn't convert. It doesn't make money, and we're all here to make money.
Would you say specific in your bio is like the way to go, or you could keep it more general if you're in B2C lifestyle?
When you go focus on your bio, I think it's important that you focus on doing it more general and just being very simple, right? Like DM me X if you want to get then the mechanism of the process or the outcome that you want them to create. Just keep it very simple. Don't overcomplicate it. And to answer your question, you can keep it more general as long as your content solves that specific thing.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's helpful.
Beautiful.
Cool.
I think we're almost done here. Right. Last question. And then we'll go eat and drink something.
Do you think like every creative should convert, or sometimes you feel like, okay, some creative don't convert, but brings your credibility and build your brand, so then people click more in your follower ads in another following creative with a specific CTA?
So you mean if every creative should convert?
Yes.
No, not really. Like obviously you're testing, right? So like some will work and some won't work. the beauty about testing is that you constantly see what works and what doesn't, which gets you closer to figuring out what constantly works. So as an example, you test two creatives. One doesn't work, one works. It could be that the one that works, you can create another slight variant of it, and it could even go better.
Okay. But if someone don't work, just turn it off. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Easy. Turn it off. Don't waste money on something that doesn't give a positive return. And if you don't see potential in it, turn it off. Of course. I'm done. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.